when I'm not making silly parody videos to teach a parable to my viewers who are in the know and understand what I'm trying to actually do here, as we learn to laugh about hair loss, because that's part of the cure for hair loss. I also make videos where we can have somewhat, like actual real conversations about this whole thing and try to sort all this out. And I made a video called Predicting If You Will Go Bald Based on Genetics, Why Do Brothers Not Necessarily Have Identical Hairlines? So if you haven't checked out that video, it ended up being a pretty good one, if I do say so myself. Knowing that, hey, can I remind you enough of something? Look, when I make videos, what I do throughout the day is any ideas that I have that come to mind, I just write them down on sticky notes. And keep in mind, I manage 2 channels. My other one is Family Friendly Daddy Blog, where we talk about race and ethnicity and DNA and stuff like that, cultural perceptions. Like, I made a video recently on the channel talking about how Columbus Day for Americans is different depending on your political leanings and your ethnicity. So for a guy, let's say an Italian guy in New Jersey, he hears about Columbus Day. Yeah, that's when Columbus discovered America. Meanwhile, if you're not quite so Republican like me, and you're actually kind of mixed ethnicity, because my mom's Mexican, so a lot of my DNA is actually Native American. DNA test confirmed about a quarter, and then about a quarter of my DNA is Spanish also. So because of that, I've got both sides. So like, I've got the natives that lived here, and then I've got the Spanish came over. So for me, it's like, why would we celebrate some guy coming in from Europe discovering a landmass that was here for 10,000 years already? You can't discover it. So what I pointed out in that video is, depending on your ethnicity and your political leanings, you're either more likely to say, yeah, I'm all about Columbus Day, it's awesome, it's when Columbus discovered America, go Trump. Or you're more like me, and I'm not a Democrat, I'm a libertarian, by the way. So that means I accept certain beliefs of both Democrats and Republicans while I completely reject others, but I'm in the middle. But my theory was, if you're either in the middle like I am politically, or you're a liberal Democrat, then you're more likely to say, yeah, it's a pretty racist holiday. But it's a way to know which side of the fence you fall on. And again, compared to the white Italian guy in New Jersey, if you were Hispanic or black or Asian or Native American, you're probably more likely to like, really? This is a holiday? Columbus Day? Okay, there you go. So there's my plug for my other channel, Family Friendly Daddy Blog. If that got you fired up and got you angry or curious, either way, because there's never any in between on this channel, is there, or that one, Family Friendly Daddy Blog. I manage 2 channels, and I just keep notes. And when I shoot these videos, I don't rehearse. I just like, okay, what was this? There's 5 words. Let me just turn on the camera and start shooting a video, which 3 minutes in this video, I don't even know what this video is about. I think I have to look at the comment to figure out what this video is even. I honestly don't know. Oh, here it is. So yeah, we're looking at the comment section. We're looking at the comment that I received on that one about predicting if you'll go bald based on genetics. And someone asked a question that I had actually not thought of yet. So I want to share that with you here. Ben Yoma had this to say, quote, "Hey Nick, great video. I agree with your statements. I was wondering if facial hair genetics and the hair on top of your head are capable of being from different sides of the family. Like, could your beard be from your mom's side and the hair on top of your head be from your dad's side? Thanks." End quote. I love that comment. I really haven't given this a whole lot of thought. If you've been watching my channel for a while, then you know one of my hair loss theories is that there's absolutely a connection between how much facial hair you can grow and how soon you can grow it, and how soon you'll start losing your hair. It's not a surefire thing, but in general, like for me, I've been growing a full beard since age 16. And if you've seen my videos where I truly point out my hair loss, you know that I've got some diffuse thinning going on. My hairline actually goes back quite a way, if you've seen those videos where I point it out. And that's part of my theory, that for the most part, 80% of the time, so don't give me exception. Well, I've got an uncle, and no, don't care about the exception to the rule because I said 80% of the time. It's a pattern. The majority, 80% of the time, guys who were able to grow facial hair in their teens before they graduate high school are going to be the guys more likely to be experiencing hair loss before the age of 35. which goes back to another one of my hair loss theories, and that is if you're experiencing noticeable hair loss by the age of 35, for the most part, you're going to be balding the rest of your life. If you still have most of your hair and you're not really have diffuse thinning and you're only Norwood 2 or better, then you'll probably be the guy who keeps most of his hair the rest of his life. See, my channel has peppered in it all these hair loss theories. So with that being said, I've absolutely made a connection because I was a teacher in Thailand for 2 summers and in Korea for a little bit too. And I realized that they were fascinated by my body hair and by my facial hair. They were fascinated by it. They would come up and they would just touch me. It wasn't like a weird thing with them. They were fascinated for me being the only white guy to have all this body hair and hair on my face. And that's when I realized, wait, look at the men in these cultures in Thailand and Korea. For the most part, you can see men in their 50s and 60s who still have most of their hair. So there must be a connection that if it's hard for you to grow much body hair, facial hair, there's a good chance you'll hang on to most of your hair most of your life. So that's when I picked up on that back in 2003, 2004 when I was over there. So, knowing that my other channel is about genetics, by the way, Family Friendly Daddy Blog, is really interesting. Can you get basically the premature balding gene from one side of the family and at the same time get the lack of facial hair from the other parent? And here's my answer to that. Nearly, 6.5 minutes into this video. Here's my answer. I think it's likely, more likely to happen if on one side of your, like one of your parents is of Asian descent and the other is not. I say in that case, it's more likely that you could be the paradox mix match of this. Knowing that people of Asian descent are less likely to lose their hair sooner, but they're also less likely to have much body hair. Compare that to Europeans, Jewish people, Middle Eastern people, people from India. They're on the opposite side. More likely to be hairier people, but also more likely to be balding sooner. Okay? But the paradox is if you've got one Asian parent and then one who's not. So even in theory, knowing that my mom is half Mexican, my DNA test showed I'm about a quarter Native American, which Native Americans actually fall on the Asian side of things. They came over through the Bering Strait a long time ago, again before Columbus got here and discovered them. They were actually Asian descendants. And so that's what we're looking at. So I think in theory, if you've got one parent who's of Asian descent and the other who's not, you could get the mismatch of that and end up being, for better or worse, you could be someone who keeps all their hair and can still grow a great beard, or in the opposite mismatch, you could be the person who loses all their hair by age 22 and still can't grow a beard. So I think in that case, you definitely can. I think for the most part, otherwise, like say both of your parents are Scottish descent, just by default, let's just say that. If both of your parents are Scottish, I'd say you're less likely to have the mismatch. I think one parent being of Asian descent is going to make that a possibility that you'd get one or the other. But the main takeaway from this video is to remind everyone of my hair loss theory, that the more likely you are to grow a beard early, the more likely you are to lose your hair early. And again, I don't want to receive one comment from a person, I know that they will now that I said that as a joke. Well, I know this guy, his name's Craig, and he went bald by 20, but he can't grow a beard. Again, exception to the rule. The whole thing about hair loss theories is, it's a theory. It's the 80-20 rule. It's true for 80% of the people, not 20. Okay, comments. My battery's going dead. Comments right here.